I want us all to challenge ourselves. I want us all to stretch ourselves as far as possible when it comes to fairness and EDI, equity, diversity, and inclusion. How fair is your community? How fair is your organization? How fair is your department? How much more work do you have to do? These days, we need to talk about embracing the situation with racism and anti-racism. Now, these are thoughts that we all may have. We want to look at it and we want to see it. And that's for everyone. We don't want to hide from this. Well, these days, as we wade down into these deep, icy pools of racism, we're asking the question, why do companies who embrace diversity and inclusion do so much better? I mean, the evidence of higher profits for these companies has been in for a couple of decades now. The evidence is in on that. Well, people are demanding fairness now. Employees are demanding fairness. Advertisers are demanding fairness. Media is demanding fairness. Buyers are demanding fairness. Yeah, employees want fairness too. Buyers want the fairness. Hundreds of products, name changed. We've got sports franchises transformed overnight. The buy-in for equity now has shot through the roof. As I do assessments and debriefs for companies and leadership teams and individuals, we can feel the discomfort. Now, it's typical for us to want to look away, to look at someone else's progress instead of looking at ourselves. Of course, pointing the finger and looking somewhere else, that's social media style, is calling people out and accusing other people. That's in fashion now. Look, we are all culturally conditioned. Try to see it. We take part in a society and a system that administers racism. It's human nature to want to look elsewhere other than at ourselves. Well, we are all in development. Racism does not come down to racist and non-racist, woke and non-woke. There's no such thing. It's a spectrum. It's an intercultural development spectrum, like learning math or music or languages. It's a continuum. Development is happening all along that continuum. We don't need to act enlightened so that we can take a moral stand against someone who's at a certain position on this continuum. The path, turning these things into good and bad moral judgments, that's how we get into this, making racism invisible in the first place. That's how systemic racism works, by staying a complete non-subject that we avoid at all costs. So we want to point the finger back at ourselves. And that is the beginning of the process, really. In our 5-step program we follow, we all, whether we're in the dominant culture or not, can experience these types of ideas that makes such a difference in your organization when we work on it. Now, do dominant culture folk have to work harder? Yes. There's a colonial situation that we find ourselves in, involving Indigenous, Blacks, and whites together in an ongoing situation. Now, we may want to feel that there's these dark periods in history and we can get past this point. But really, it's an ongoing situation, something that we need to deal with today and every day. Diversity and inclusion. What is your company doing about it?